Hello and welcome to the Weekend Cooldown Lab, the podcast. I would like to introduce my friends who will be on this podcast after every Formula One race, Finley and KG. Hello, my name is Milan and I will lead this podcast through these episodes. Hello, Finley, KG. How are you doing?
Hello.
So, alright, having that done, introducing you, we can go and have some fun. Today, we will talk about the Belgian Grand Prix. How did PS3 win, and what did Norris do? Will Max move to Mercedes or not? Who do we think will drive for Cadillac next season? And who will win the very first edition of our quiz? And we will also look forward to Hungary next week. Alright, the first part, race recap. Let's start at the very beginning, the rain. What happened there? Finley, give me your opinions. What happened with the rain there?
The FIA was just way too safe. Like what Max said as well at the end of the race. Basically, more than half the grid was running high downforce because they were expecting a rain race. And they just waited till the track was basically dry and we were on slicks like 15 laps after. So basically ruining every chance of a good rain race.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. KGB, what is your opinion on that?
Well, I think the problem with the rain not necessarily with the rain itself, and I mean the way the FIA handled this whole situation was shady and just overall terrible. But I think the main problem is the cars still. The huge tires, they just spray up so much water on the track, which isn't the main problem actually. Is the diffuser. These um these ground for these this generation of cars just suck up so much water through the diffuser that it's literally impossible to drive in the rain. It's a shame because we have for some of the West races here in Spa when it rains, but nowadays it's just impossible to have uh, a race.
I think the big problem is just the big actions that happened. You know, Antoine Hubert and Dilano van 't Hoff a couple of years ago. I think that's the main problem with the.
I get why they're trying to play it safe, but like they even fucked up with I don't know what year it was, a couple of years ago. I think it was 22. We also had the rain in qualifying. Lando shunted into the wall at Eau Rouge, and they didn't stop it then either. I think that might also be a reason why they're a bit more safe at Spa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that was the 2021
Yeah, that
qualifying.
one. Yeah, that one.
Famously, Sebastian Vettel requested a red flag multiple times, and they didn't listen to him, and they waited for the red flag until there was an accident, which is never the best thing to do. So it might be a bit
No.
controversial, but I think that it's fine. The FIA played it safe this race, but the FIA is still to blame. The FIA is still to blame for not having a good, for for defense not getting a good wet race, but it's more because of the cars and not the situation itself.
Yeah, I get why they're trying to play it safe, but like at this rate, we're not gonna get like a full wet race this year. Definitely not. Maybe next year with a new generation of cars, but this year we're not gonna get a full wet race.
the thing what is crazy to me, last week we drove in full wet conditions in Silverstone. They even promoted on social media and everything, like crazy racing and everything. And then 1 week later, we have to wait so long that we cannot even drive on the damn track. It's just I don't
I
get it.
didn't
No
even
consistency.
the no the full wets didn't even make an appearance. Like it's just they talk about how they want to um curb spending. Well, just remove the wet tires completely. Just make one tire for every condition. For the for the entire wet. If there's a wet track, just make one single tire. That's it. Because the wets are just useless.
Yeah, they've been talking about making uh, a new type of wet weather tire, which is just one set of tire, which should be somewhere between the current wet tire and the intermediate tire. But then the problem is that there's no good alternative between the current intermediates and the slicks. So there will be a huge gap there. So I'm not sure what is the best option. A few months ago, Pirelli did test new wet tires. I'm not sure if you've seen the pictures. I'm gonna uh, put it on the screen here. But they did test a new wet tire, which looks a bit like the intermediate, but with a bit more tread. So they should hopefully be a bit more suitable for the weather conditions.
It's gonna cause big problems because if it's gonna be damp, they're gonna wear out so fast. That might be a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Look, we might. So there are two things that could happen. One, they do wear out too much and then become useless, or they wear out just the perfect amount where we can have like interslick tires, which we first saw in like 2020 Turkey, where the intermediate tires wore down just the right amount for the drying conditions, and they became sort of this mix between slicks and the intermediate tires, where they didn't have that much grooves, but they did have some, so it was the good amount for the current conditions. But that's really just a gamble whether that works for any and all damp conditions.
Gonna depend on track surface.
Yes, exactly.
Right, let's let the rain be what it is. We can have a lot of discussions about it, but
Yeah.
at the FAA just too safe. All right, let's move on to the race start. 1 hour and 20 minutes after 3 p.m., the actual race started. Couple of laps behind the safety car. Then we went with a rolling start. Piastri start. KG, explain what happened there.
Well, um, it's really I was confused because to me it seemed like they could have had a standing start, but looking back, I think the reason they might have done it is because at Spa the main straight has a bit of a slope towards the pit lane, and the water can just stand there, and it would be unfair to those who are on the right hand side of the uh, main straight because they would have had more water. So I think that's why they might have opted for a rolling start. And Piastri did a fantastic restart. He stuck with Lando, and he had a really good exit out of turn one, stayed close in Eau Rouge and through Radion, and managed to grab the lead. And I think that is the main reason why he wasn't that disappointed after getting P2 in qualifying, because he knew that he had a chance to take the lead, just like Max took the lead at the sprint. And one interesting thing is that on the next lap, Lando complained that his battery pack was empty, to which his race engineer, I think Will Joseph, or I have no idea. So his race engineer said that he depleted the battery during the safety car restart. But after the race, Zach Brown said that they had an issue with the battery pack, which they resolved. Which to me it's weird because I have no idea which is true. Because why would Zach Brown lie about it if it was not an issue and Norris just did not manage his energy well? But if there was an issue, then why didn't they just say that to Norris? It's all strange to me. I think he just messed it up, and Zach Brown is maybe trying to um, help his situation.
I think that's something different. I think that it might have been an issue, but maybe because maybe he turned it on for too long. He held the button too long, or whatever the fuck he did. I don't know how it works exactly. Maybe the battery didn't stop draining after he stopped using energy.
Okay,
That could have
but
been an
that's not
issue.
an issue. That's Norris messing it up. And if he did use that
No,
much
the battery
energy,
can well um there's a way for the energy to just keep going. There could be a mistake in the system, and energy could just keep on going even if you don't want to use it.
You can program the energy as well before the race, like where you want to use a bit more and a bit less, so that they don't have to press the button. Maybe they made a mistake in programming that. That could
Yeah,
be an issue.
Yeah,
yeah,
that could be an issue, but that to me that's highly unlikely. What I think
yeah. But they
might have
fixed it
happened,
within a lap, so I don't get what
yeah,
the
I
problem
am
was
not
then.
sure what kind of issue it could have been. I think that Norris simply just went into the wrong energy mode. He messed it
That
up.
could also be.
He used up all the energy through the straight, which is weird to me because Piastri seemed to overtake him so easily down the straight. And then he used up all his energy and he didn't have any left for the rest of his lap. And that's why Piastri managed to pull, I think, over a second or like 1.5 seconds
Yeah,
during that first lap. But
yeah.
that's not an issue with the ERS system. That's Norris messing it up. So once again, I don't understand what Zach Brown is talking about. Like what issue? There are many issues that happen with an ERS system, and he's just talking a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, it's hard to know. We have no idea what's going on. That is a big problem. One thing I noticed about Norris, by the way, I think in those first lap you could see the exact talent of Piastri and the talent of Norris. Piastri can adapt so quick to these conditions. Like in my opinion, Norris has a bit more raw speed than Piastri, but
He
in
does. Yeah,
conditions
Yeah,
like this,
completely agree.
Piastri just immediately adapts. Lando Norris was having a hard time that first lap, and that's why Piastri could overtake and immediately drive a second away. That helped him win that race, and I think Lando just misses that. That's why he, in my opinion, could never be a champion.
Yeah,
uh,
I think it just comes down to racing intelligence as well.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you just look at the whole restart, Norris started, I think it was the exit of Blanchimont before the bus stop chicane, and Piastri reacted perfectly to that restart. And to me, that restart place to restart is so strange because you, you don't restart there at Spa. I think you either restart way before to catch them, uh, uh, to surprise them, or you restart at the middle of the bus stop chicane so they don't have the perfect exit. But I think that's probably the worst place to do a restart. PS reacted perfectly, and then Norris moved to the inside. If you look at it, he moved a bit to the inside at the bus stop chicane. Why? Piastri can't overtake there yet. There was no reason for Norris to compromise his own chicane. And then at the first corner, once again, moved to a defensive line. He should have been much smarter because he should have known that Piastri was not going to overtake into the first corner. He should have taken a nice wide entry, flat, flat on the exit out, and just power down as quickly as he can, which he tried to do with a normal racing line. And that's when he lost the rears at the end. You can see that he did a bit of a power slide, and Piastri managed to start his corner a lot flatter, and he just had a much better exit. And I think this shows perfectly that Norris is just a lot less intelligent as a driver than Piastri.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And all those mistakes Norris made as well. Finley, what happened there? What did Norris even do? Did he throw away his
I
win there?
I don't know that exactly. If you look at the mistakes, and he could have probably gotten past Piastri. But also, I think the track was still not really up to grip because yeah, it just stopped raining and the track's basically green again. So I think there were just some yeah mistakes, but Oscar didn't make up on arguably worse tires at the end, and
Absolutely.
he could stay
Yes,
consistent for majority of the race. And
Yeah,
Lando made a couple mistakes that just weren't necessary, in my
yeah.
opinion.
I think that's the
Because
issue as well.
I
yes,
think he tried to push too hard. Because
Absolutely.
he at
absolutely.
Pool, I think at Pool he went off once, and at turn one a couple times. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just over pushing the car.
I think he lost about 3.5 seconds
He
overall
was,
with the
yeah, could be, I
mistakes.
don't know. Didn't see the exact number, but it was definitely 2, 3, maybe even 4 seconds.
Well,
Could have been
if I
pretty
remember
close.
correctly, he lost I think 1.5 seconds at P1,
Yeah,
uh, zero point 0.6 seconds into turn one once, and then another 1.5 to 2 seconds into turn one again.
Yep, true.
which could be. Yeah.
Yeah, and some fans, I'm sorry, but I have to mention this. Some fans still believe that because McLaren messed up the pit stop with Norris, they threw away the win, and
No,
they are so delusional. Some fans they truly believe that McLaren sabotaged Norris on purpose, but
they
they
will
don't
not.
see that he literally threw away like almost 4 seconds.
Yeah,
They won't, because if they throw away, it could also have been third if it was closer, then Leclerc could have just also gone past. Like if they
Yeah.
fuck up too much, yeah, then you're gonna cost yourself more points than what you're in the game.
Yes.
absolutely.
Because realistically, McLaren's gonna win the constructors, but if they do play a favorite, I don't think it's gonna end as well as they want it to.
And it just doesn't make sense.
It
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Absolutely
Just let
not.
them fight it out. They're
Yeah.
both great drivers, but yeah, it just comes down to who's
Yeah.
better, more consistent.
Yeah.
And so far,
But
that's Piastri.
yeah. But I think this favoritism thing is a lot more complicated than some fans might feel like, because to them it's just, oh, they put him on the wrong strategy, they favored one driver, and then the next day they favored the other, and it's just I think it's really not this simple. I think there are a lot more things that we could talk about this, but uh, we have to move on.
Yeah, let's go. It was obviously a great win from Piastri. I have to say that it's unbelievable. Just complete dominance, I'd say.
Perfect,
Um,
absolutely perfect, no mistake
He
from
drove
him.
yeah,
perfectly. Yeah.
but having that said, let's move on to our next part, the silly season drama. Let's talk about Max and Red Bull and Mercedes. Like, I think, what is it, half an hour ago before we started this podcast, Helmut Marko came out with news that he says Max Verstappen will drive for Red Bull next season. KG, what do you think about that?
Uh, if look, I I don't really believe the words that come out of Helmut Marko's mouth at all, but I think this one might be true. At least next season, Max, I think, is gonna stay at Red Bull for now. Also, if I think a few days ago, Toto Wolff has said that they plan on staying with George and Kimi for next season. So I think that's a confirmation. And also, there are some rumors that Max Verstappen has not met his exit clause yet. So he is still doing a bit better than um his exit clause might allow him to leave. So I don't think he will leave Red Bull at the end of the season. I think he will wait for 2026, see who has the best car and the best team, and then he will decide. Because let's be honest, Max can go anywhere he wants, and he might not even stay in Formula One. But I think that's another really interesting thing, that if Max leaves Formula One, where does he go? Does he go anywhere, or does he just go home to his family?
I think he's gonna drive in the Endurance Championship.
Yeah,
Not
I
many
think so
races a
too.
year, so he will be home a lot. And he will drive cars, which he definitely enjoys. But I wanted to say something about the exit clause real quick. I have heard that it's not even possible anymore for Max to meet that exit clause, because after the summer break he has to be before or lower in the standings to meet the exit clause, but the summer break will be after the next race, and he cannot go below P3 anymore in the standings. So he cannot leave Red Bull without buying out his contract. Finley, what do you think about it?
He should leave, but I don't think he is going or is able to now that he can't meet his exit clause. I think Red Bull's just a dysfunctional group. They're getting rid of literally everyone imaginable. For fucking Newey, Horner, Wheatley. Like the team doesn't run anymore. He needs to leave. Max is the only thing holding Red Bull together.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Uh,
Um,
I
yeah,
agree to some extent at least, but I still think that it's the wise option to wait until 2026 to just see what Red Bull can do, because I think Red Bull still has potential, even though some key figures have left.
I don't think Red Bull can be competitive next year.
I also don't think it will be
That's
competitive.
because
But yeah, true. But I
Ford have little to no experience on making a capable Formula One engine, and Mercedes, they've made fucking rocket ships from those engines.
Yeah, and also you have to consider that uh, next season Alpine is gonna have Mercedes engine as well, so they're gonna
Yeah,
have a lot more, even more money coming in through the
yeah,
Mercedes engine program, which
exactly.
might help them develop more. And it's not just money. The more teams you have using the same engine, the more data you have about performance and reliability. So whilst Red Bull only has so Ford only has two cars, I'm not sure if VCarb is going to use Ford engines, so that might be
they
four
They
will.
cars.
will.
But let's just say two or four cars. Mercedes is going to have what? So it's McLaren, Mercedes, Williams, Aston Martin, and
No, not Aston
Alpine.
Martin. Aston Martin will
Oh
Aston
yeah,
use
Martin's
Aston
gonna
Honda.
move
Martin's
to
going to go
Honda.
Honda, yes,
Yeah,
but that's still eight cars. So that's
yeah.
twice or four times as more cars, more data about performance and reliability than Ford will ever have. And I think that's a huge key factor in terms of engine development. And what you can't uh, forget about is that next season we're gonna go fully synthetic with fully synthetic fuels, which means that the fuel suppliers, which for Mercedes are Petronas, for Ferrari is Shell, and I have no idea about anyone else. I think Alpine might use Elf. It's a French company, but the fuel suppliers are going to have a much bigger impact next year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely. Well, yeah. Which is also something I don't agree with, but that's my point.
I think we have talked about Max enough. We'll see. We will see what happens in the coming weeks, and we'll definitely talk about it more when we have more news. All right, the next topic. What do you guys think will be Cadillac's next year's lineup? KG, what do you think?
It's a trick question because I can't answer with two drivers. I have many ideas as to who might be in the Cadillac seat next year. I still think that they might go with Checo Perez because, let's be honest, he is a good driver. Even though he struggled at Red Bull, I think is a driver with tremendous experience driving midfield cars and even lower midfield cars. And he has tons of experience. I think he has over 200 or something races throughout his career, which is a big number. And I think he will be a valuable asset to the team. So will the other driver, who might be Valtteri Bottas, who is also a really fast, a really experienced driver in midfield and top cars. So I think for a new team, it's always best that they go with two old and experienced drivers who might not be as fast as a young driver, but they will certainly crash less. they will certainly provide more feedback. But if Cadillac wants to go with a young driver as well as an experienced driver, I'm not sure who they would pick. They might go with someone from F2, or I think they might go with someone like Frederick Westy, who is currently the Mercedes reserve and test driver, and he has tons of experience in the simulator and driving cars. So I think even though he is a rookie and he's young, he might have some experience. So I think that Cadillac is still considering their options. But if I had to pick two, I'm gonna go with Perez and Bottas.
Interesting but understandable choice. Finley, who did you pick?
Honestly, yeah, it's not going to surprise anyone. It's Paris and Bottas as well, because just experience matters when you're a new team. It and Bottas has beaten Hamilton in equal machinery on occasions, and Paris is, even though not as many times as Bottas has, but he's beaten Max a couple times when they've had a good car. So
Absolutely. I think it might be a boring choice, exactly, but I think that might be the right choice for them. My drivers, I chose for Bottas as well. But I did choose for Mick Schumacher alongside him. I know Schumacher might not be the best driver ever. He's not shown a lot in the years he got with Haas, but I do think we need to give him another shot. Because obviously Cadillac needs experience. They're a new team and everything, but it's not like they are a random team. They are very big in America. They know how to win. They know what to do. They have a big team behind them. So I think they know what they're doing, and obviously a bit of experience will never hurt. So in my opinion, they should always go for Bottas. But giving Mick Schumacher another try, it's not that bad. And you have a name in the car as well, Schumacher. And in WEC, he's doing a very good job right now with Alpine. So I think giving him another
Yes, and
shot
that's
is
the
not that
problem.
bad.
That's the problem. He's doing fantastically in WEC. I think he has a contract with Alpine in WEC for the next season. He's doing well, and he said that he enjoys uh, driving the Endurance Championship more than he did F1. I think even if he was offered a seat in Cadillac, he won't accept it. He will stay in WEC with Alpine because that's something he's good at and that's something he enjoys.
I have to disagree with that actually, because I think obviously he enjoys WEC right now, but Alpine is not a winning constructor in WEC, and uh, if he really wants to win, he needs to move up in WEC as well to the likes of Ferrari, which I don't think is unlikely. But if he gets the chance now to drive for Cadillac, a new team, a new story, and can erase the memories what people have of Mick in F1, then I think he do that. Maybe if it's even for 2 years, score some points, building the legacy of his father, maybe a little bit. Then why would he not do that? After that, he can go for a lot more years in WEC with Alpine or a different team.
Yeah, I think that I mean that are really good. Those are really good points, but I still don't fully believe that. I mean, obviously I think he is considered for the seat. They might have talked to him, but there are many teams coming into WEC in the next few seasons. We have McLaren, we have Genesis. Ford has announced it, I think like a few days ago or something, that they are going to go into WEC. So that's six more cars uh, we have in WEC in the following years. So I think Mick Schumacher has plenty of options outside of Alpine in WEC to go to a new team and build something around him with other drivers as well in a successful team. So, yes, I don't think that he's going to want to stay at Alpine if he wants to be successful. That I can agree with. But I don't think he wants success outside of Endurance Championship. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I guess there are a lot of choices for Cadillac, and I think yeah, I think a lot of drivers will want to go to Cadillac. Obviously, it opens up more space, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyways, let's move on to the next segment. maybe most favorite segment of myself, Lights Out and Quiz On. We will play the first quiz of our podcast. I will ask KG and Finley to both to separately 5 questions. They will both get 5 questions about the one, obviously, and the one with the most correct answer will win. If there is a draw, we will go to a sudden death question, and the closest one will win the quiz. All right, Finley, are you ready?
No, but here we go.
Well, let's test your knowledge. All right,
Okay.
first question. What was the last European Grand Prix on the F1 calendar?
I think it was wasn't it when or what track?
It doesn't matter. Country, track, when. Just
I
just
think
you
it
can
was
name one.
I think it was 2014 Italy.
Nope, no, that's not correct. It was Baku in 2016.
Oh, of
After
course.
that,
Yeah,
from
that's
2017, it became the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
yeah.
I knew
Which
that. You should have asked me.
absolutely not. All right, next question. Which team won the 2009 World Constructors Championship?
Wrong.
Yes, that's correct. Under Park Fermé, what are you allowed to change? Name one of the two things you are allowed to change.
Front wing.
Yes, that's correct. The other thing you're allowed to change are the tire pressures. Which team has the most World Constructors Championships in Formula One?
Ferrari.
That's also correct. And the final question, what country hosted the very first F1 night race?
Oh, that's a different one.
That's
Um,
pretty easy. Come on.
Bahrain, I think.
Nope, it
Oh,
was
Christ.
Singapore.
Ah, it's Singapore.
All right, that's 3 correct answers for you, Finley.
Mm.
KG, we'll go over to you. Which driver got disqualified for the whole championship, even though if he wouldn't have been disqualified, would have won the championship? Which driver?
Wow. I hmm.
It's
So if
actually pretty known.
Yeah,
Michael
you'd think.
Schumacher,
Yes, it is Michael Schumacher. Correct.
1997, right?
I did not do research for that, but that could very well be true. All
Yes,
right.
that's when he crashed with Jacques Villeneuve
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Perez.
It was yeah that crash. Yeah. All right. Next question. Which driver holds the record for the most starts without a race win? A disclaimer: the driver has won a race in the meanwhile.
I think that is Sergio Perez, and he broke
Yes,
that
correct.
record at the 2020 Sakir Grand Prix.
Correct.
Do I get
Who
extra
was?
points
No,
for
absolutely
being a
not.
nerd? Oh
No,
God,
no, you will not. Who was the last driver with number 99 as their driving number in Formula One?
Antonio Giovinazzi.
Are these
Yes, correct.
questions?
Which team did Ayrton Senna win 3 titles in?
Who?
Which team did Ayrton Senna win 3 titles in?
Oh, come on, that's easy. That's McLaren.
Yes, correct.
What are these questions?
Which F1 driver also competed in Le Mans 24 hours and won?
Fernando Alonso.
Yes, that's correct. You got everything right.
What a
Also,
bias.
also, I think Mark Webber also won in WEC in Le Mans.
Well, I've
And
done
if
research,
you yes,
and my
and
sources say that Alonso was the one driver who also competed in Le Mans 24 hours and won. But hey,
hmm,
my sources might be wrong. Who knows?
yeah,
But at
don't
least
use
you've won.
ChatGPT.
No, it was not ChatGPT. I actually did research. All right.
Yeah, sure, buddy.
Well, KG, congratulations with the first
Oh,
win on this quiz.
oh,
You'll get another chance next week, Finn. Maybe you'll win. Who knows?
oh.
All
Do I
right.
get extra points for knowing Fairly's questions? Knowing the
No,
I
answers
know
to
you will
his
not.
all of
questions?
It's
your.
not like you need it.
Yeah, I just want to win. Like, not just win. I want to humiliate Finley.
Hey.
Yeah, you want to humiliate him? We can do the sudden death question to see how close you both can get.
Bet,
Okay, let's do
bet,
this.
bet.
What?
Yes.
Yes? Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Approximately how much liters fuel does an F1 car use during the Belgian Grand Prix?
110.
Oh Lord.
You say
Uh,
110. Okay, Finley,
okay,
what do you think?
I can't even get a chance to think. Uh, Get like uh 95.
You are both very far away. But it is KG who won.
Awesome.
Because 458 liters is actually what they use during the Belgian Grand Prix.
Jesus.
What?
It's one of the most fuel consuming tracks on the calendar.
Well,
Thought they
that's
only had
informed.
100-liter engines, but could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought they used like 100-liter tanks or
Well,
110
this is this
liters.
is this is my source. Maybe my source said or meant the whole weekend. Could be true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably yes. That
Well, that
seems
better.
more correct. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put it to the bottom of the screen whether spin test is correct or not.
All right, let's do that. Okay, let's move on to move on from the quiz to hot take of the week. Everyone will give one hot take, and we'll see if it happens or if it's crazy, and we'll see if we have to deep into it or just completely ignore it because it might be completely stupid. All right, Finley, what is your hot take of the week?
Bortoletto has had a better season so far than Antonelli.
All right, and can you give some explanation on that?
Well, the Sauber is just bad and really, really bad. And he's been there most of the season. He's been up there with Hulkenberg, past Hulkenberg, majority of the times. He's just outperformed Hulkenberg a lot and and the car's on the up, but it's nowhere near the Mercedes. And Antonelli, um, yeah, he was absolutely dog at the Belgian Grand Prix. Two Q1 exits and did nothing in the race. So yeah, and the last couple of races, he's just made mistakes like an Arche crashed into Max. Like I know those are rookie mistakes, but Bortoletto seems to be a bit more steady than him. If you take the car into effect as well.
Yeah, I think that's right, but I think Toto rushed Kimi into F1. I really
He
think
did.
he did. I think an extra year in F2 wouldn't have hurt him. Absolutely
No,
not.
definitely wouldn't have. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's really good, but he hasn't really shown it lately.
Yep, absolutely.
If I may just add a few things to this. Uh,
Yes.
Let me just say this. I think both of them, and quite honestly, all of the rookies are tremendously talented drivers. They are all really, really good in their own ways. But Kimi has made a few mistakes, yes, in the last a few races. But I think that I think saying that Bortoletto is that much better than Antonelli is just a bit of recency bias because if you think about it, yes, Kimi had a terrible, terrible weekend here in Belgium. There's no denying that. He didn't have pace and he kept making mistakes and just was overall struggling. Uh, and yes, in Austria, he made a mistake, crashed into Max, ruined his race and Max's race. But other than that, he had, I think, like four mechanical failures in the last God knows how many races. He was taken out in Silverstone. He did score a podium in Canada, and he did grab a sprint pole in Miami. He did a fantastic race in Australia on the season opener, and he has shown some pretty good moves. And let me just remind you that Bortoletto also crashed a few times this race and made some mistakes. He crashed in Australia. He spun, and then his suspension broke, which was really weird. He also crashed in Silverstone. I think he might have. I can't remember. I think he had some other mistakes as well, and he's only been on pace with Nico a few races throughout the season, because most of the times where Hulkenberg scored points, he started from like P16 or 17, close to where Bortoleto qualified, and then he finished P5 and P4 and P3 and P6. Meanwhile, Bortoleto only scored points in Spa and one race before.
That is
So
also a very big part is strategy in that.
yes,
Hulkenberg made those places. He only not discredit Hulkenberg's podium, but he only got that podium because yeah, that's just a whole lot of luck, in my opinion.
uh, yeah. So I think that in the last few races, Bortoleto has been doing better than Kimi, but Kimi also had some unlucky failures and some mistakes. So I think we need to wait until the end of the season to completely evaluate the rookies. And even then, I think it's too early, because ideally we would need to wait like 2 or 3 years before we can see the full potential of a rookie driver. And
And I
Uh,
also
I
don't
think
think
Piastri is the
the
perfect example, because it's his third season, and I think this is the season where he has grown up to be a championship contender. He could not have fought last season. He was not ready. Obviously, he wasn't ready in the first season, but I think the third season is one of the most valuable in terms of showing the true potentials of a rookie driver.
yeah, but you also got to take into account that Antonelli is in a 10 times better car than a Sauber.
Yes, that is true,
And
but
I
we
do,
can't
and
just look at
Antonelli is gonna
results.
stay there long, and I think Portoletto's gonna stay at Sauber longer. So you really it's difficult to see the potential when they're in such different cars.
Absolutely, but I think that's an interesting one to keep an eye on for the next couple of weeks. KGB, what is your hot take of the week?
Um, my hot take, wow.
Your hot take.
um, the so-called DTS fans are not the problem. Uh, it's the fact that people are not willing to learn about the sport and its heritage and its history.
I mean, I think DTS fans could be here, but if they're not, yeah, willing to learn more about the sport, then they should also not make comments about things on social media if they don't really know what they're talking about. It's fine if they just watch it, just don't
That's
make
social
comments
media in a
on the
nutshell, my
DTS.
man.
I know, but just don't do it. Simple. I think that's the issue, and that's why people hate DTS so much.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that DTS itself is a problem. I think it's the fans who, well, quote unquote fans who watch it, and then they think that that is what the sport is, and they are not, they don't want to know anything else. But I think that DTS has done a lot of good for the sport. It really made it more mainstream, but also it has its downsides. It's a really complex issue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, true. Um, yeah, it is what it is. I think we cannot really change it as well because these fans will keep coming into the sport, and yeah, every year we'll get these people and we'll see stupid comments, and yeah, it just is what it is. Simply. All right.
You can't avoid them. You're gonna see them whether you like it or not.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can't get rid of them. We can't ignore
Yeah,
them. So we might
yeah,
as well be nice and understanding. And if they have questions or if they don't understand something, we can explain it to them nicely. And
yeah.
I think the part of the toxicity problem that F1 has is not DTS fans. It's the way that some hardcore fans react and abuse these people because yes, they don't understand things that you know. I understand that's frustrating, but that doesn't mean that you need to be a dick about it. Like you can explain it to them or just not react at all. I've always said that no reaction is better than a negative reaction, and I think that's something that people should learn and implement and use.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to learn something, they can listen to our podcast. You know, they'll learn
Exactly.
something.
Wow, perfect. The perfect podcast for DTS fans. That should be our
Exactly,
slogan.
why not? Yeah, I mean, for every fan really. But if they want to learn something, just listen to us. Anyways, let's move on to my hot take. I actually have three in one, but it's about one driver. Um, I think Lance Stroll will win a race next year. He will finish higher than Alonso in the standings next year, and then will retire at the end of next year as well. That's what I think
Absolutely
is gonna
not.
happen.
Absolutely
Win a
not.
race? No.
Absolutely not.
No,
Higher
okay,
than
let me explain.
Alonso?
Let me
Okay,
explain.
okay, okay, wait. Win a race? Maybe. Maybe
No.
if the car is
No.
good and the conditions are right. Look, he could have won in Turkey in 2020, but the team completely messed up the strategy. He could have easily and should have won that race because he did get pole and he did the first stint perfectly. He didn't make any mistakes and he was a faster driver. So I think he has potential. But there's no way that if the car is good and reliable and Alonso is not getting screwed over every single race, which actually might happen, there's no way that Lance Stroll will be the fastest driver.
Okay, let me explain why I think he will be. I think that next year he will win a race because I think the Aston Martin will be all right. I don't think it's gonna be up there with the likes of Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, but I think it will win a race at some point in chaotic fashion. And we know Lance Stroll can do it when it's complete chaos. He's been on the podiums a couple of times, and who is saying he cannot go two steps higher on the podium than P3?
Me.
Well, I think he can, and after that, I think we'll have just a decent season. And Alonso is getting older and older. Another new regulation set. He has to adapt again. And as I said, he's getting older. I don't think he will be as good as Lance Stroll next year. It's simple as that. And after that, Lance Stroll will say, "All right, it has been a decent season for me. I I won a race. I'm never gonna win a championship. It's fine. I'll just stop." And I think his dad agrees with that as well, so he can build an actual top team. And then Lance Stroll can go to the endurance championship as well and race for Aston Martin there. I can definitely see that happening.
Maybe, I don't know, if it snows in the Sahara Desert, maybe then this unlikely scenario can happen. But look, realistically, if Aston B has a car good enough to win races, maybe just not just one race, multiple races, I think Alonso is more likely to capitalize on these opportunities, like we've seen in 2023 with multiple podiums, because we know that how good Alonso can be, and I
He can
think
perform
uh,
the cars good. He's lost that
yes,
touch to perform on the cars worse. Because when the car's worse, Stroll normally performs better. But when the car is a little bit better than Alonso, most of the time is gonna outperform Stroll by a lot. He's
yes,
shown that last season. He's shown that this season. Like when the car's a little bit better, Alonso can get more out of it than Stroll can.
yeah, I think that Alonso's pace can heavily depend on his motivation. But
Yeah,
if
that as
there's a
well.
car that can win races, Alonso will have such a motivation that Lance Stroll can do nothing next to him. Absolutely nothing. If the
Yeah.
car is doing terribly, Alonso doesn't care about it. Absolutely gives him no shit. That's when Stroll can be a bit closer. Like this season, we have seen that Stroll is closer, and it's not necessarily because Alonso is struggling. It's because he doesn't give a fuck about it. But if the car can win races and can fight with podiums, Alonso's mood changes dramatically, but Lance Stroll doesn't care about it anyway. So
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's a hot take for a reason, you know. I mean, it's probably not gonna happen, but it could be.
It's a burning take.
All right, all right. Well, we'll see about that next year then. Okay, let's go to the next stop. Next stop. Next week, Hungary. We'll go to Hungary. Uh, Finley, what do you expect about Hungary?
McLaren 1, McLaren 2.
Well,
But
that's easy, but probably realistic.
yeah, like the only car that can function normally in any condition is the McLaren. And Hungary, it is, let's be honest, a bit of a weird track. With up and down and the weird ass up corners and shit. I don't know. Uh, I think the McLaren's just gonna, yeah, just gonna outperform there massively.
Yeah, fair enough, fair
Because the
enough.
Red Bulls, yeah, let's be honest, absolutely horrible. The Ferrari has its moments, but it's not as fast as McLaren. Same goes for Mercedes,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
rest don't even get close.
What can I say about it? I think I think that's fair. A fair point. KG, do you have anything to add to that?
I do have a few things to add actually. Um, I think obviously it's a really technical track. People call this track Monaco without walls, which is a really fitting. It's a really short track, but it's really technical and it's really hard to get a lap right. But if you do get it right, since it's a short track, you might not gain as much. So it's always been really close in qualifying, but uh, it's really hard to overtake here. So I think that whoever has pole position will win the race under normal circumstances. But we have seen that what can happen in Hungary when it rains, and the weather has been a bit funky in the country for the last few weeks. So there is a chance that it might rain, and if it rains, it's gonna be absolutely crazy. Just look at 2014, 2011, and I have no idea. Okay, yeah, 2020, 2021. So I think if it rains, it's anybody's race to win. But if it's dry conditions and especially hot conditions, which do happen in Hungary sometimes, uh, it's an easy McLaren 1-2 because tire management is a huge factor. And so I think uh, if I want to make my predictions, it would be Norris on pole, Piastri second, and then um, let's say Russell third. And I think that will be the podium. And Lando will have the fastest lap. But I think it's just a matter of who's fastest in qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that definitely will be.
We already heard the first predictions. Let's talk about that a really bit. A little bit. We have a predictions championship. We will see after the end of this season who is the best predictor of us. And let me just shortly explain
Point
the points
system.
to you. The point system exactly. All right. If you predict a driver who will be on the podium but not in the correct spot, you'll get 1 point. If you predict the driver on the correct spot on the podium, you will get 2 points. If you correctly predict the pole position driver, you'll get 1 point. Correctly predict the driver with the fast lap, you'll get 1 point. And if you get everything right, every driver right on the podium, pole position and fast lap right, you'll get 2 bonus points. So the maximum you can get really is 10 points. Um, so yeah, let's start. KGB already gave us his predictions. Finley, what are your predictions?
I'm gonna go for a. Actually, gonna go for a Max Verstappen pole because it's Max. and he can do shit in quali that nobody can. Um, and for the podium, I think he's Max might be yeah, is Max gonna be third, then Norris second, Piastri first, and then Piastri with the last lap as well.
All right. Yeah. My predictions are basically well, not exactly the same, but I think Max will get pole position as well. Then Piastri will win the race. I think Max will be second with Hamilton in P3, and I think it will be Piastri of the fastest lap. That are my predictions. All
Interesting.
right.
You can never forget about Hamilton here. You need to
Exactly.
remember that he has eight, I think eight wins here. This is where he got his first win for Mercedes. So it would be fitting if he got his first Grand Prix win to Ferrari here as well. Just saying.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna win. But I
No,
think Lando has issues in the race, and Hamilton will capitalize on that, and he'll get on the podium. That's just what I think. But yeah, we'll have to see, wait and see for next week. Anyways, with that done, we will go to the cooldown lap, the last bit of this podcast, the first episode. All right. Next week, we will analyze the Hungarian Grand Prix, just like we did with the Belgian Grand Prix this week, and we'll see what happens next week. We will obviously drop some more hot takes. Let's see if Lance Stroll can win already next week. So still be wrong, but hey, at least I could be sort of right. A whole new chance for Finley to win the quiz. Maybe next week he will. And we will see who takes the early championship lead for the predictions. And I also want to say, don't forget to follow us on all the socials. It will really, we really appreciate that, and it will give us more motivation. And definitely give us your opinion about the podcast. We would like to read that and see what we can improve and what we can change and make it even more fun or whatever. If you have any questions for the quiz of next week or a different quiz or something you would like to change about the quiz, maybe send us a DM and we will absolutely try to use that. And now I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. I want to thank Finley and KG for this episode. And remember, if in doubt, keep it flat out. See you next time.